Hello, everybody out there in the internet. It is Wednesday, January 31st, 2024. Uh, Welcome to episode 67 of TKKN and Buff Save the Universe. I'm Chris Evans, Tekken Master, joined by.
Buff Larkin. I learned something on Sunday, Tekken, and it resolves around where you live. Did you know that one of the most famous franchises in the world originated in your city?
I'm going to guess you're talking about either White Castle or Pizza Hut, but yes,
Pizza Hut. Was White Castle created there too?
I think so.
Oh my goodness, that's good. Oh, is it a sense of Wichitonian pride?
No, not for me anyway.
If you went to get pizza and it was Pizza Hut and another place, which one would you go to?
It depends on what the other place was. That's a bad example. You're like, what's the. Like, I kind of need to know
Well,
the other place, Buff. You're going to be like, oh,
well,
if it's
what's your
Pizza Hut or
what's
the other place.
what is your favorite pizza place there?
My favorite pizza place is Papa John's.
Papa John's. Oh. Now White Castle. If you had your choice between the
I
two
don't eat
White
White
Castles,
Castle, so
I'm
I don't
just
eat fast
straight
food
up
anyway.
telling
In
you.
general,
Yeah, you're a lean, mean push-up machine. But I'm just saying, a White Castle or McDonald's, which one would you choose?
you. I've never even had White Castle, and I don't eat McDonald's, so neither.
Okay. Well, that was a good podcast. Anyways, so if you had to hang out with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or you hang out with say the Gargoyles, Disney Gargoyles, who would you hang out with?
Mm, that's a
I
good.
know who
That's
you.
good. That's a tough one.
I know who
I
you
mean, I
pick.
guess I go with the turtles.
Yeah, I know. That's
But
what I
but but
figured
then
you
like
would.
the gargoyles, they're like they turn to stone during the day, so you could only hang out with them like during nighttime anyway. So
Which is why I brought it up. Anyways, but that's good. They're your peeps. All right. So today we're going to talk about sex.
what? I'm sorry, people listening and watching. I never know what he's
Oh,
gonna say. I didn't know
sorry.
he's gonna say that. But
Sorry.
whatever. What the F are
Sorry.
you talking
Sorry.
about?
We're going to talk
Continue.
about fornication. There, is that a better word?
Sure.
I'm spicing it up here. We're going to talk about some bangers after bangers after bangers. That's what we're dealing with. No, no, of course not. We are going to talk about Vince McMahon, though. Real quick.
Okay, where is this going?
Oh, yeah. Well, you must have
I don't
heard.
even, we didn't even do it pre-show. You just was like, all right, take it. Today we're gonna talk about X, Y, Z. But then he like proceeds to like talk about something random anyway. So it doesn't. I guess it doesn't really matter. So I guess it's whatever. But like now I have no idea what he's gonna talk
Well,
about.
I
So
wanted,
yeah,
I wanted to have your. Well, I figured you would have heard the news by now that
I
Vince has
did.
stepped down. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear the news that he stepped down. I mean, I saw something about him retiring, but like I didn't think he actually like resigned or whatever. But I did see like the whole scandal that came out after the
He
Netflix deal.
he's not coming back, buddy.
Oh,
He's not coming back. He did a NPA or NDA non-disclosure agreement to a lady for $3 million, but only paid her $1 million. He tried to cheapskate her, and so she's taking him to court to try to for all that he did, and well, that's we'll talk more about that in later on in the show to tease him. But we're gonna be talking about sex later on. Sex with 70-year-old men. Stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that. But we talked about last week because we hadn't had a podcast in a while, and I always like to a push Tekken's buttons, and b we want to also stimulate his mind because we want to delve into his psyche and find out more about him. We've said this many times, and I'll say it again. So first of all, we'll do a simple thing as we always do at the start of this. Tekken, what have you been playing?
oh man, oh man. There's been some good gaming going on this long. So Baldur's Gate 3. Woo!
Woo!
Baldur's Gate 3 honor mode. Got to Act 3. That boss fight at the end of Act 2. Oh my gosh, that was exhilarating. That was exhilarating. I finished that this morning. I was like, oh man. because I didn't look up the legendary actions that the boss had, so it was a complete surprise, and it was nice. It was a nice surprise to get through that fight, and it was like the encounter because we just like destroyed like everything up to that point, and I was like, oh man, we're gonna just wreck this boss, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, legendary actions, ooh, the tables have turned. Um,
Oh,
and then also in that playthrough, just a lot of cool stuff happened. I was using my bard hireling, and they really have persuasion, really high persuasion and charisma, and I was able to talk the second act boss, the second fight, past the first phase without even fighting them. That was really cool too. I was like, wait, because as it was happening, I was like, wait, is he just gonna? It's like there's no way he's just gonna whatever, like we're not gonna like win from just talking to him. But then it's like, oh, it's just skipping that first part where you have to like do some damage before he changes stuff.
evolves.
Um, so yeah, playing the crap out of Baldur's Gate 3 is still effing awesome, and it's still the best. And then besides that, um, what else have I been playing? I mean, I know there's one thing I've been playing I want to talk about, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else besides I go into that because I'm about to gush all over it. Um,
Oh,
so I was like, let's see, I've been playing Xbox. There's nothing there. Oh, I mean, it's not really a game per se, but I have been like looking through browsing the stores of the 360, PS3, and then like the backwards compatibility section of the Xbox Series consoles, just because the 360 is about to be like have like a mass delisting in August, and it's like a
hmm.
bunch of stuff's gonna be taken offline. Or you can't buy it anymore unless you find the disc version on eBay somewhere or somewhere used, or like. But then like not all games have like discs, because that was like the first console generation where they had digital games of like some stuff's gonna be you have to
So
download
would
this
you?
game from the thingy and it's online only, yada yada yada. Get it while it lasts.
So what'd you find?
What do you mean? What did I find?
Well, you're looking on there for any games, right? Did
Well,
you
there was
find
already
anything
stuff I
that?
was interested in. It's just like I'm finally getting around to picking it up now because I don't really have a choice because it's gonna be delisted and it's not like I can just go into a store and be like, hey, do you have a copy of Assault on Dark Athena? And they're like, what the F is that? So that's when I picked it
And
up.
then you get mad and you throw things around the
What is
store
that? What?
and you say, "Listen, noobs, I could do your job 10 times better than you. I know the Ark of Nikamina. I know that game.
What
If
did you
people ask
just
me
say?
the Narc of Nakamina, and I know that. Nah, you're nothing. I could take
Ark
your
of
job.
Nicomedia?
I could, yeah, Ark of Nakanika, and then here's the Macarena, and I can do. I know this game. Yeah, yeah. You're a bunch of noobs. I called people noobs before you even were born. You noobs. I could take this job. I could do better at this job. Get the hell out of here. I'll do it myself. Yeah.
um, I played the rhythm. I finally played the DLC songs, so all the Final Fantasy 6 banger, or sorry, Final Fantasy 16, not 6, Final Fantasy
Mm,
16. I
mm.
mean, Final Fantasy 6 songs are in there, but all the Suiken bangers from 6, well, they're not all in there, but the one that plays whenever Clyde, or is it Clive? Gosh, I haven't played that in a while. Whenever you go Super Saiyan in the boss fight, and then like the music kicks in, and it's like, oh, that one, like yeah, it just every effing time. Um, I played some Final Fantasy 14. I've been leveling up my Astrologian, so I think I've got almost all my healers done. Oh, I actually played a triple triad tournament for like the first time in forever. I didn't see what place I got to, but like when I stopped playing, I was in first place. So I was like, dude, if I can not play this game for like a very long time and then come back and like still, I mean, it's still triple triad. It was like completely different, but still, it's like, if I can just jump back into triple triad whenever, still get really high on the whatchamacallit scoreboard ranking, whatever the F. That's a good time. Um, but yes, besides that, the only thing that I've really sunk in my teeth into, well, I mean, Gran Turismo is kind of like taking the place of Destiny lately, where it's like there's weekly challenges, but that's not really. It's like whatever, dude. It's just you just jump in, you do races, and it's like whatever. I'm not whatever. I just f that game honestly because they kind of like effed up on all the challenges. Like sometimes they're not even like pickable. I don't get into it. I was almost going to forgive them for like the screw job that they did at the
Oh,
beginning of effing of effing like when the game first came out and they like took away all the credits that you could win for games. I'm sorry, for races or whatever, that like easily. But yeah, they had to go and do a stupid and like be like, oh, we updated the game, but now it doesn't. It's funny because it's like you think we're supporting it, but hey, it doesn't even work when we put the challenges in all the time. So maybe we don't care. Uh, but yeah, whatever. F 'em. I'm almost done with the legendary cars. I need like however many more. I still need like 40 million credits or something. But it's like the list is like way shorter now. I'm getting there, so I'm getting to the point where I can finally walk away from that stupid game. Eventually, or just have all the cars that are like super expensive and just be like, okay, cool. It's like not as hard to get a car, whatever, and just jump in and play this game, or just or just have all the cars in any case. But the other game that came out, I'm gonna say it came out over the weekend because I played it Monday, but I think it was already out because I preloaded. Or yeah, I was able to play it, but I didn't play it until Monday because I was like, well, I'm gonna wait until I have like time to just sink my teeth into this one. Tekken 8 came out, and it's effing good, man. If you're a fan, I would say it's the best it's been, in my opinion, since Tekken 5. I also didn't really enjoy Tekken 6 scenario campaign mode. Don't get me started. I would say it was a misfire. And then I mean Tag 2 was good, but it was just there's a lot of mechanics there, like a lot. And then like because there's different characters, it gets like a lot of stuff of like okay, you got to know like XYZ for XYZ character, and then like because there's so many characters, you have to be able to be like, okay, well, if I'm in like whatever matchup against whatever character, but there's so many characters, and it just like kind of overloads the brain. But this one,
Yep.
dude, is just like, man, not okay. Seven was also really good, actually. Let me take that back about what I said about five. But like five was like super duper awesome. Seven was also super duper awesome. It brought it all back after the in between times. Um, and eight, man, is just like return to form, I guess, because gosh, just effing. Woof. It
Ooh.
was, man, I didn't know what to expect because I thought that at 7 they ended the arc, but I guess it was just like the feud between Hayachi and Kazuyo's ended. But then like the arc was still going because like in the promotional trailer that came out before this, it's like, oh, we're finally going to end the saga of the Mishima and whatever Kazuya Jin, blah blah blah. And I was like, wait, didn't we end that in the last game? But it's like whatever, dude. But then like for reals, dude, they stuff happens, status quo changes, and I was like, what? And it's just like, but then it's like I'm not gonna say what happens, but like there's stuff that happens in the story that's pretty like, oh my gosh. But then you get to like the credits, and right before the credits roll, there's like a whole thing of like effing. They essentially take a like 30. I'll say 30 years. It's not been 40 years. This isn't a game from the 80s. This is like the 90s. Like yeah, it's like a 30 plus 30ish years like storyline that they've been doing for like 30 years. They completely just like wipe the slate clean, status quo change, stuff happens, stuff goes down, and it's like transcendent, and it's like, oh, they just did that, and it's like, okay, cool. It's like they just like clean slate, but then like before the credits roll, they do something else, and it's like, what? It's just like mind blown, just like it's just like, oh my gosh, the ramifications of what they just did. What? No, just yeah, just over 9,000. Also, yes, it gets to, like over 9,000 in the story mode when like you're fighting and like you get to chapter 14 and 15, just like last two chapters in the story mode, just like stuff goes down. It is like the most over 9,000 like fight sequences of just check Tekken 7. I was like, how are they gonna top? You're fighting in an active volcano, and it's like explosions and lava and like melting and like death everywhere. And then it's like, how are they gonna top that? And they topped it, and I was like, I was like, I didn't know, I didn't even know, I didn't even think it could be topped. I was like, dude, there's no way. And like, they did, they did, and it's like I'm not gonna say what happens, but it's like, dude, it's effing awesome. So yeah, okay. And then besides the story mode, which is like really effing good, and there's even like a second ending I haven't seen yet because I haven't done the thing because it's like why would I do that? That's super evil or just like bad. Um, so besides story mode being really good, effing they have an arcade quest which is similar to Virtua Fighter 4's, but it's not. I would say it's not as good or in depth or just like I don't know. I don't want to say it's not as good. It's like good, but it's not because like gameplay wise, it's the same game you're playing, but it's because you're just playing Tekken 8. And, like it's a fun game. So like the gameplay wise, it's fine, but it's just like the way it's implemented is not as in depth, I guess, because there's not as many unlockables. I feel like there were in Virtua Fighter, but maybe that's just me. Because it feels like, because like even if you just clear through story mode, you have like 30 million. At least I had 30 million fight money, and I could buy like all the unlockables for the character I was using. And I was like, and I did that Tuesday. Wait, no, was it yesterday? Was Tuesday. I didn't play yesterday. Monday. Actually, no, it was Tuesday. Tuesday played for like 3 or 4 hours or something on online mode. Um, and I like bought all the customizations for the character I was using, and I was like, okay, well, there's nothing else for me to buy with all the money I've got, so I hope there's something else to buy. So I guess we'll see. So Arcade Quest was kind of like I like what it was. It worked. It's like I think it's like a cool little like a meta storyline, or like you could like do that type of like your in universe representation of your avatar, and then like they go through an adventure or a story or whatever, what have you. But like it'd be like a cool way to be like, okay, but like like this story is like you, but you're going through this as your friend group, as you all play this fighting game and like go into tournaments and stuff. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was like a cool way that like they could probably like implement some sort of like esports storyline in the game, or
Yeah.
just like I said, like the meta style of like this is you but not you, but it's like your creative character goes through these scenarios to play this game with your friends, but they're not your friends in the arcade quest mode, air quotes, and like just to have an adventure there. I hope they add on to it, but they probably won't because that's usually not the case with fighting games.
Do you see
Um,
this game being considered an esport game?
yes,
Has previous incarnations been considered esports, or is this kind of like it's been there, but now they've raised it to a level where it is considered now a
it was
potential
already
esport?
esports with seven, so yeah, it was already
Okay.
there, and like previous injuries as well. Um, but yes, to answer your question, yes. And then let's see, online is good. It's really like they have a bunch of like little thingies that like track all the stuff when you're playing, which is pretty cool in real time. Like your connection, like the frames, like the I can't remember what it's like. It's whatever. Just there's like all the stuff that's like in there on the back end, on the front end, like you can see in real time as you're playing to like see like the data come in as you're like, oh, what's the connection like? Um, and then okay, so back to Arcade Quest. Like the cool thing that they do with that mode is they teach you the mechanics of the game. But like the way that they teach you the mechanics is like they have you play through and then like show you this does this thing, and like they just take you step by step and like from how to throw a punch to like
Hmm.
how to do the whatever, all the things or most of the things. And then so they have that. That's a good. I would say that's a good way to like play that and then like play online and like you can take all the lessons that you've learned and like apply them to an actual match, which is pretty cool. And then but they did something differently this time where they make it. I would say they make it more accessible, or the most accessible it's been, where they basically have they have two different control styles. Like you have basic. I don't know what it's called because I don't use it. And standard or whatever. There's like two different ones. One of them it's like you push R1 and you can just hit like single button inputs, but they do moves and combo strings, which is pretty interesting. Um, and it's neat because when you're playing online, you can see if someone is doing that, and so it's like I had like one opponent that was doing that, and I was like, I'm not losing to this person, but they're really effing good, and I was like, ah, but it was a whole thing. It's on stream too, because I streamed for like 4 hours or whatever, on like I said on Tuesday, and I was like, oh man, it was great, it was great. I've not been this into Tekken in a long time, man. Like since I think that's why I said Tekken 5, because like Tekken 5 was my fall off point. After that, I was like, whatever, dude. I'm in 7. Kind of brought it back, but I mean, 7 was like really good. It's just like I just couldn't be bothered, man. I was like, I don't care anymore, dude. I play for fun. I play games for story and narrative and character, and it's like this isn't my deal. I mean, it's not my jam. It's just like I've moved on and I've grown as a person, okay. And I was like, I'm gonna retire my gamer tag. I'm doing all these things. I mean, I'm probably still gonna do that, but it's like playing 8. I was like, man, it rekindled the fire within. I was like, ooh, this is exciting. I'm having fun. I was like, dude, I haven't enjoyed a fighting game this much and like playing it online and like getting better since like effing Street Fighter 4, and that was like a long effing time ago. And then like effing they did okay. I was playing online, and then like they have like the replay thingy, or like you can watch your replays. But in this game, there's a game changer that transcends every whatever the f addition in the game, and that is like the replay practice mode. And you can go into replay mode, and you can see, or the game will tell you, at this specific point in this match, when your opponent did this thing to you, what you should have did was this thing. And so you can just use that, and it is just like your personal skill ceiling at the game will just grow exponentially. Because like I saw that, and I was like, holy crap, this is a game changer. I'm gonna get so good at this game now, or like even better. Because oh man, I was rolling through people, it was fun. And then effing oh so good. And then
Did you
if
feel that way when you lost?
when I lost, I was no, I didn't feel that way when I lost. To answer the question, but effing effing you can go from that screen when it's like saying this is what you should do, and then you can just like go into like a practice screen, and you basically like are practicing against a training dummy on the move that it told you to do. So you can basically it's so good, it's so effing good. So it basically tells you when someone does this specific move that you're getting hit with over and over, this is what you should punish it with if you block. And then it says, would you like to practice this? And you can just practice over and over and over against all the effing crap that if you're having issues of like what this move is that is hitting you, and like you can get better. And like, it's like it's so effing good. And I was like, dude, this is the best this game has ever been. And I am glad I played it the first week because I was like, it's gonna be a while before I get to it because Baldur's Gate 3, dude. But then I got around to it and I was like, ooh, I might. But then I'm like, I don't know. It's like I'm having fun, but it's like I don't know if I like want to keep playing because it's like, what's the? It's like part of my brain is like, dude, what's the point? It's like I'm having fun, but it's like I've done the story. There's nothing more to do. I mean, there's still like story stuff to do. There's like other stuff you get after you finish it, and like I haven't played through the air quote arcade mode to see everybody's like parallel story or story hooks to the storyline. Uh, I mean, the story is kind of silly and zany and whatever, but that's Tekken, whatever. So it's like on the one hand, I kind of wish it was like a more grounded in reality and realistic, but that's we've kind of been like past that point for very many games now, and it's never going back. So it's whatever. It's kind of like that's just where we're stuck at. Um, but I quite thoroughly enjoyed it, and I will probably end up playing it. Probably more. I think this is just gonna be my game I play after work every day, and I'll just grind it out and get better and better and see what happens. Um, And then I did pick up Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, but I haven't played it, so I'm wanting to get into that. I haven't played it, and then like I said, Baldur's Gate 3, which I'm thinking to put it on hold until I get through Grand Blue Fantasy, but it's like I got a whole month. Um, kind of because Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth comes out, and but it's like like the 20th something or like whatever. It's towards the end of the month or over the halfway point. So I think I have plenty of time, at least to finish honor mode. If I don't finish honor mode, dude, that's like just eating away at my time, and I need to do that so I can just be like, all right, Baldur's Gate 3 done, and I'll just come back to like goof off and get my platinum whenever and like play all my new games I've not been playing because it's been such a effing time. It's like that's so effing good.
And so what new games have been waiting for you to touch?
Well, just from this year, Taken 8 before I got around to it on Monday, and then Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, which also came out like the day after. So, because I had pre-ordered both of those, but I haven't played. I mean, I'm gonna get around to it, so I'm like, whatever. And then I think that's it. Well, that's it on my list for January, because this month like flew by. And then for February, I think the only game I've got is. Let me look at my list real quick, because I did update my list. Oh, there's two games. Crap. So Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth and then Unicorn Overlord. Those are my two games for this month. But then also there's a state of play today, and I need to add some games and update it. So it's a whole thing.
It just never ends.
But that's all I've been playing.
So you've rekindled the Tekken fire that's within the Tekken Master. That's good. Who's your favorite character that you've played so far?
Okay, that's. Do you mean who's my favorite character or who is my character I use when I'm playing? So they're two different
Who
things.
who? Well, usually when people say
Is
that,
it
it's
no,
it's
no, like
saying
no, because who your character is who you main, and who you main is not always the character that you're like, oh, that's the coolest character, or that's the character I gravitate towards. Because sometimes the characters you really like, you don't like their moveset, and you're like, hey, Tekken 4, why'd you change his moveset? Oh, guess I'll switch to a character so that's someone else now. And then it was like, yeah, it's like that's how Lin Jiayu became. She got the level upgrade from a character I just use sometimes to my main, and we've been down ever since. But honestly, we were down since Taken 3, so it's like that's why I'm playing like this week, and I'm like, dude, I'm really just rolling through these characters, or I'm sorry, these other people I'm playing with or playing with against whatever. But then I'm like, oh, I guess I've been playing this for like 30 something years, and it's effing long effing time, and it's just like, yeah, I guess I have been, and it's just
So, what character on Tekken? We already found out in your eyes who's fallen from the stately statehood of godliness that you've given them. They've fallen into the pits of despair. Well, what is one character who has done the reverse? It's like, they were like that, and all of a sudden they've to use your sound effects and moved up on levels.
I haven't played with enough of the characters, so I wouldn't know. Because I've only been playing. I only played story mode, and story mode is mostly Jin until like a few fights, and you can just like there's like one mode where you or like one part in the story where you have to play a bunch of different characters, but then it goes back to whatever. And there's like another part where it splits off sometimes, but it's only like one match, so it's like I haven't had enough time to put in to see who's like really really good. But then also like arcade quest mode, it seems like if you just play through with like whoever, it'll just give you the same tips. So I'm not sure like who has what as far as like, oh, that's a cool little like upgrade or whatever that they got. But then honestly, it's whatever. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell at that point like who is, because honestly at this point it's all new to me, and honestly there's like I haven't even played matches against some of the characters in the roster. I feel so yeah. But then even then, it's like when I'm playing on arcade quest and then you play human opponents, it's completely different anyway. Because it's like it's like yeah, it's like yeah. Anyway, let's. I'm not getting into it, but no. To answer your question, I can't answer that question because I haven't put enough time in with a bunch of different characters yet. I've only been playing my main or Jed because of story mode, and that's it.
Okay, so that's good. So, back to Baldur's Gate because you like it so much. You've reached. You said chapter. Well, the third level, right?
Gosh, Buff, Act 3.
Act
Jeez.
three, level three, Act three.
I'm not
Eh,
in Act 3 yet, but I pretty much am because I just finished Act 2. I just need to like do a few things and just progress there. But yeah,
and how many acts is there?
3.
Perfect. Oh, you're almost done it. That's
No, I'm
fantastic.
not almost done. That's not how that works. But go ahead.
Well, you're two-thirds done.
Even when you get to Act 3, Buff, it's a long effing game.
Long
You don't get to go to Act
effing
3 and like,
game.
all right, I'm Act 3, I'm at the end, woo, I'm done. That's not how the game works at all.
Well, you got a charmer on your team. Use them to get you through the game. Anyways, so what's on the horizon for you game wise?
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Unicorn Overlord, as I just mentioned.
Unicorn Overload. Very nice. Very nice.
There might be some more.
Very
Like I said, there's a state of play. I don't think there's anything coming out this month though that I need to update my list with because there was only like 4 games or something. That was like, oh, that's really cool, but I mean,
more Tekken for Tekken.
there's more stuff that I can add to the list now, but I need to update it to see. But yeah, 2024 was looking a bit slim pickings until that. Well, not really, but like it wasn't looking as whatever as last year as loaded. So we'll see.
Crazy. Well, what do you think when I use the word dong?
I'm not gonna answer that.
Perfect. Let's get to talking about Vince. Vince McMahon. Well, first of all, did you watch the Rumble on the weekend?
I did.
You did?
No, I did not. I was gonna watch the
You did.
replay, but I was playing stuff, and I was like, I'd rather play this than watch the thing. So no, it didn't happen.
Okay. So how much do you want me to spoil for you?
It's fine. I'll watch the replay anyway. So
Okay.
actually,
So
my
then
Peacock is getting the discount is
oh,
going away, and they like emailed me, so I
oh,
have to cancel it.
you know what that means? Yeah, when the money starts coming due, Tekken pulls out. Absolutely, absolutely. So earlier last week, they made the deal. WWE, they're going to move Raw to Netflix for a couple $1 billion. Uh, what's your thoughts as a man who doesn't have Netflix, but you know the idea where you have the USA Network that caters to the United States versus a platform that people could watch all over the world.
I
would that
mean,
interest you?
it's weird because it's like this actually is like a weird scenario where I think it works with the brand split because you can just watch Raw and you're not going to miss out as much as you would have like back in the Attitude Era with like, oh, you have to watch it every like Monday, Thursday, Sunday, whatever, because there's no brand splits. You're not going to see, or you're going to see everybody across the board on the roster on each different show. But like now it's like you can just watch Raw, but you'll never see like the SmackDown people unless there's like a crossover thing or like they show up on there or there's pay-per-view like blow back or something. But I mean, it's like yeah, it's like it's a I think it's a good move just because it's a bigger audience. Um, and it is like in the post streaming era, like it's like I don't watch cable. I don't know people that well, I don't really talk to people about TV, but like from my guesstimations, most people don't pay for or watch cable because it's like not a good use of money, and it's like most people are streaming these days, even though like sometimes they stream to the point where they're paying as much as they would for cable, but then it's like now it's on like one of the streaming platforms, and like it's got even more of an audience. If they put a deal in with Netflix where they would like actually like advertise it or just like put it on the like the front end of that app, it's a good it's like a good move for branding and visibility because more people are gonna see it and then maybe watch it and be like, oh, this is cool, or just this makes me feel nostalgia for back when I used to watch wrestling and like maybe watch it or start watching it or just watch a couple episodes or something, But yeah,
Do you think they'll stick to 3 hours,
yes. I
even
don't
if
know why they
there's
would.
no
I don't know the. I
commercials?
don't know the way they would change it at this point.
There's no commercials.
I mean,
Commercials are the reason why it's stretched out for so long, right? Every hour it's pretty much 44 minutes of actual show and then 60 minutes of commercials, give or take, right? Credits and all that. So you're looking at maybe a little over 2 hours of actual wrestling, of
mm-hmm.
actually wrestling show. So if they can cut it down to 2 hours again, would that be something that you could sit down and watch on a weekly basis?
I mean, it's something I could, but it's not something I would. Well, actually, no, because I don't watch anything
Well,
weekly on a weekly basis.
if you had the option of watching a 3 hour show or a 2 hour show, what would you pick?
Are you talking about TV show?
About wrestling, Raw. You saw
Oh,
if they said, "Hey, Tekken, you're
okay.
going to be the guy."
Time out, dude. Like, I don't even honestly like Monday Night Raw, so it's like I think this is a bad question because like,
Well,
I
I'm
should be
just
like no because it's like why would I watch Raw? It's trash. So it's like
well,
yes.
it's
If it was
would you
SmackDown
rather?
though, I'd go for 3 hours. I love
Yeah,
SmackDown
okay, SmackDown
or
for you.
WWE or Dynamite.
There you go. Okay, good. I'm just saying
I mean,
they.
I'd always take the option where I get more. Like, why would I go for less?
Oh, I would say go for 2 hours. They've had 3 hours for so long,
I meant
and
from like an entertainment perspective, from like a production standpoint, I could see like why you want to go for less time because it'd be easier to manage,
less
like with
costly,
like
right?
better booking as well. But like,
Stretch that $1 billion, buddy. That's what they. That's what you do. Speaking of stretching, then later in the week, we got Mr. Vince McMahon, who had to resign from his spot at TKO because of an impending lawsuit coming up against him by one of his former liaisons that had NDA in there. She paid. He was supposed to pay her $3 million. He only paid 1 million, and so she's taking him to court. He said, "Oh, I'm gonna get more money." And the best part is that he'll settle out of court. But now because he had already sold the company, and now he's resigned. He doesn't have enough power to come back. So we have officially seen almost the last of Vince McMahon because at the same time Netflix has a 6-part documentary on this pervert. So it's uh it's interesting because he had a relationship with this lady, and in the lawsuit he also brought in Johnny Ace to do some finagling. Basically he was allegedly using her as a as what word, hoochie, allegedly. Well, he was using her, and then he was sending her texts and all that. It was just, I feel very bad for this lovely lady. It's just,
okay, time out though. Like on Vince McMahon, was he still like what was his position in the company before he resigned?
Oh,
Because
he
I
was
thought like when they sold to TKO, he was just like on the board, but he wasn't like doing anything on the production side.
he was on the board, but with a certain percentage, and now he's still on the board, but now he because when they bought his stock out, right? So then he was left with maybe I think he has 11% left, and not enough to take over the to come back. So now he is off in the wild blue yonder, and he will not be coming back. I would like to talk about all the depraved things apparently that he did allegedly, because that's how we have to say things now. But it has put a very bad light on TKO, Slim Jims,
I
which
saw
I'm
that. I got that on
which
my phone or saw it on my browser about like their sponsorships.
yeah, and as soon as that happened, it was not the depravity that caused them to get rid of Vince. It's when the sponsors are starting to take away their sponsorship is when they say, "Oh boy, we have to get rid of them." And so, yeah, because I know the Slim Jim is like your fourth major food group for America, but as soon as that was taken, uh, the pressure was put on Vince to resign. So that happened. I will tell you about the dongs that he called wrestlers' names as we get after the podcast is over. I don't want to sully this podcast up too much with all that, so that's good. And then we lead into the Royal Rumble. Of course, as soon as Vince left, Slim Jims came back and said, "Yep, we'll sponsor Slim Jim." And and so and so got the chance to sit down and watch the Royal Rumble. Put my $10 on the random Royal Rumble pick, and then once again I come away $20 lighter. So that's all right. I couldn't beginning. I had Becky Lynch in the female Royal Rumble. I thought I had a chance with her. Yeah, on the men's Royal Rumble, I had Dominic Mysterio. Good luck.
Why'd you pick Dominic?
I didn't. It's
Oh,
random.
oh, it's
So what?
random.
So there's 10 of us. It was 10 of us in this Rumble pool, and so we break it down. So each one gets three numbers randomly picked out of a hat. So you get one pick between 1 and 10, another pick between 11 and 20, and then another pick between 21 and 30. So therefore, you get at least an honest shot at something, right? So I had
So
the
if
best.
so if like if nobody picks the winner, does it just go by whoever got the most eliminations?
Nope, it was because we had 10 people with 30 pick with three picks each. So that's
Oh,
30, right? So therefore, somebody wins. We've had some years where we didn't have the numbers, and so what would happen is if that number won, it was a wild card pick. Therefore, everybody gets their money back, which everybody was happy with that. If I'm not winning, I want my money back. So that's it. So yeah. So my best pick was Dominic Mysterio. I can't. Who else I have? I think I had the Miz too. The Miz at 25, I think, was my other one. That was like, oh god. But that had Becky Lynch at 21. So on the women's rumble, I had number 1, which was Natalia, number 11, which was some girl I didn't know. And, and so if I don't know her, that's how bad that is. And then at number 21 was Becky Lynch. And I'm like, yes, there's a chance because I had an idea that it's going to be Becky versus the Angry Woman at at the uh, at the Rumble at the WrestleMania. Whoever wins that because that's a big drawing match, right? With Becky and the Angry Woman. And so, but no, they went with Bailey at number 3, and Bailey went all the way through. So yeah, it was like whatever. So, but I didn't win. Oh, my money back. But besides that, then it was Rhea Ripley, of course, is the angry one. We always say that. Anyway, she's a lovely lady. I be honest with her. She's a very lovely lady. Then came in. the men's rumble, and I had 9, and I had some number. I think like 18, and then 25, and I can't remember who was 8. Andrade. It was. I think I had Andrade. That's who I had, and so I had Dominic, Andrade, and the Miz. What a good hand I had there, didn't I? Frick. Anyways, turned out Cody came in at number 15, and it was, and I won't spoil it for you, but it was Cody, it was Drew McIntyre, it was CM Punk, and it was Sami Zayn at the final four. I won't tell you who won, but I will say this: that CM Punk injured himself yet again. Some people are calling him Mr. Glass now because he got himself hurt after just 3 matches in the WWE. I feel bad for him because I think the idea was to have him, of course, main event WrestleMania. He got hurt. He tore his tricep again, and so he's going to be out for well past WrestleMania. So we'll see what happens. And it all comes down. It doesn't matter who wins. It depends on if The Rock is wrestling Roman at WrestleMania. Would you see Roman wrestling The Rock? Would you like to see that?
No, I mean I don't know. I think it just I think that the Tribal Chief storyline and just like the bloodline ran out of gas for me a very long time ago. So it's like I kind of just don't care anymore because it's like it kind of just changed from like who's gonna beat Roman to like well Roman's just gonna be the champion because that's just the storyline now, and then it doesn't really matter because yeah that's okay. Or just like it goes on so long that it's like it doesn't like it's like you stop caring about who beats him because it's like well that's like I don't really care. So you kind of the storyline has gone on so long that I kind of just don't care, and you've kind of ruined all the reasons I cared for in the first place. So whatever. But I don't care about Roman and The Rock. So whatever. Hmm.
Perfect. Well, that's good. Other than that, it was a good Royal Rumble.
I mean, it was nice to see like The Rock back and doing promos again because it's just funny every time he's on the mic.
It is. Yes, indeed. We'll see what show. I'm very surprised. I thought that was the plan for WrestleMania, and then all of a sudden, whoever won, and so it was interesting to see where they go from here. Of course, they're not going to make a decision on who's going to go for who just yet, but we'll see. We'll
Or I guess
see
I
how
should like
long.
like reiterate what I was saying though. It's like I don't think that like Roman as the champ is like whatever. It's like not really a question of like who's gonna beat him. I think the storyline is just like Roman is the champion, and it's just like until they can just like figure out something to do with that, they're not gonna change anything because it's like they're still getting ratings. Like so, it's like they're not like they kind of like feel like they have to like do anything from a booking perspective. They can just play it safe and like oh Roman's gonna just beat everybody, and then we'll figure it out when we want to figure it out. Until then, we'll just like ride the Roman wave, man. So it's whatever. Or just like
And
it's just like a throwback to like when like, well, I mean everybody probably still hates him, but like not no not as much though. It's just like back to like WWE's gonna shove Roman down your mouth, or
oh,
they're just
oh, oh,
they're gonna force Roman upon you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's like if you don't like it, don't watch it. And it's like if you and then like yeah, that's your own problem. So yeah, so that's that. But that's just one belt. So now we've got the heavyweight championship and all the other crap. That doesn't matter because they unify the titles, but they're not those titles. So whatever.
so what do you what do you want to see into that will make you happy with the WWE?
Don't make me happy.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. That's a hard question. I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't know honestly, because I don't know because yeah I don't know what I want to see because I just I don't know if there's the answer because for me it's like until I stop watching AEW I just prefer that style or just like that they're like the way that they present their stuff. I don't know if there's anything that they could do at WWE to be like oh man really liking it. It's just too it's just too much of like that style and I just don't really like that style in comparison to AEW style. So it's just like it's more of a stylistic thing. But like I don't think they could do anything to change it because it kind of works for them, and I don't know if it would work if they changed it. And then anyway, it's like it's fine the way it is. It's just like if I want to watch something else, I can just watch something else. But it's like for that style, like it works for them, but it's not for me. So it's not anything that they can really do. It's just I don't like their stuff, or like I don't like their style and like the way that they like they're tired. There's or like I don't like their sports entertainment, like how they do it. So it's like it's not it's not a them problem. It's a me problem because I will never like the way that they do their stuff. So at least from like the men's side, like the women's side is fine. So that's always fun. So I mean they don't know what they're doing and they always like do they I mean the one thing I would like them to stop doing is just like having the whole like how they ruin the tag divisions and like they never have like tag teams. They only have singles competitors that are tag teams and then like when they have actual tag teams they break them apart and make them singles competitors and it's like why don't you just have like a legit tag division, you know? Just that's like the one thing that really irks me because it's like that's one of the reasons I really like AEW is like they have a strong tag division and it's always fun to watch and it's like they're all really good. And it's just like, yeah, why do they just let them flourish like that? At least on the men's side, on the women's side, in AEW, they don't really have a good tag division at all. So,
No, no, those slurping sounds for them.
I mean, come on, like it's like I still love scissoring. It's great. It's the best. It's like effing the acclaimed. Still, it's never gonna get old for me. The whole scissor thing.
Quote that. Quote that. Put on a t-shirt. I still love that scissoring thing. Ticketmaster. There you go.
Oh,
Uh,
that was so great. It's like they started doing the scissor thing, and then it just was the thing they'd start doing, and the crowd started chanting it, and just it's never gonna get old for me. It's too good.
do you still watch any New Japan?
Nope,
Do you still have the service?
I sure don't.
Oh, okay, I didn't know you could cancel. That's good. Okada, their major big ace and star, is coming to America. He is said he's leaving New Japan after 14 years. My question to you is, where would you like to see him go?
Uh, Not WWE. Anywhere but WWE. I guess.
I don't.
I mean, AEW
Yeah,
would be fine too, but it's like it just doesn't make sense to go to WWE. So
unless he wants that WrestleMania moment. But besides that, no. I think AEW would be a good spot. A lot of people talk to me and they say, "Joe, all these guys are leaving New Japan to go to AEW. You hardly hear about them ever again. Are they being booked wrong or are they being booked correctly?" And to be honest, the Jay White thing, I believe he's being booked correctly because when they brought him in, he won his matches up to the world title match. He lost it, and then he goes down a bit, and then they build him back up again. Not everybody can be a world champion, so they have to have roles for him in all different places. In today's world, a lot of people think, "Oh, he's got to be a world champion." Yeah, everybody has to have a belt. Everybody has to be a champion, and that's the worst thing about. And I'll say that about New Japan, AEW, that there's titles for everything. For AEW, there's all those AEW titles, and they got the Ring of Honor titles. It's like it's just a whole like everybody has to have a title. When in the old times, no, you had one world title, lesser title, and then the tag belts, and that seemed to have done fine in the '80s in the big boom period. But apparently, nowadays everybody has to have a title, and it waters it down. What do you think?
I think the thing with titles is like it's fine to have a bunch of them. It's just like you have to utilize them properly. Like that's the WWE problem with me is like they they basically like when they unified the Universal and the World whatever the F that wasn't the other one that they made with Seth. It's like they kind of just like took that out of the picture. So like from a booking perspective and a storyline perspective, like you can't like you don't have a lot to work with. But like when you have a bunch of titles, even if they don't mean as much or anything, it's like you have more to work with. Like that's one of the things I liked about WCW back in the Attitude Era is like you had the cruiserweight belt, you had the TV title, they had like a bunch of titles, but they were just like whatever. But like it's like you can build storylines around them and like booking around them. So it's like you have something else to like build off of and like use as a catalyst and like just besides just like building from nothing. So it's like you can actually have like feuds and things that like actually mean something because they're centered around something, even if it's just a lesser title that's not the world title. So it's like for me, that's why I would prefer that versus just having like three titles or something like a tag belt and a like world title belt and like maybe like one lesser belt or something. or just like the Intercontinental and like the world title and like the tag title like back in the old times. It doesn't bother me. It's like just because it's like I see it as like something that can be utilized from a booking perspective or storyline perspective that you can always build these stories and these storylines or just book title or book matches around these things as long as they're in the like they're just like bubbling up in the whatever, and like you use them as a catalyst to like book things and build things and like get people over or whatever, and it's just like just use that as a driving force to like do the thing that you would still do if it wasn't there. It just works better in my opinion because it has somewhat of a meaning now when there's a title in the like a title picture, yeah, or like a title in the picture or just a title on the line in like whatever scenario. Which was kind of like, which was like kind of like what pissed me off at some point in WWE when I was watching it because it had the whole Sami Zayn thing and his whole like conspiracy thing with the Intercontinental title. He finally got the title and like there was no payoff, and it was just like he was like ranting and raving about this like conspiracy for like a year or something crazy, and like he finally gets it and like nothing happens, and I was like, dude, like you can't just that's the one thing that super irks me though is like you have to have like a payoff to the storyline if like you're gonna do something like that, and just like you can't have it mean nothing because like which is what really irks me about WWE sometimes is like there's so many things that just like build to nothing and like nothing happens, or like they build and then like something happens but then nothing happens, and it's just like they're just irks me. It's like so much. It's one of my super duper main pet peeves about WWE. Just how sometimes just like stuff just goes effing nowhere. Main example of being the Bloodline because it was just so effing awesome, and then it just like imploded and collapsed, and they just kept it going. It's still going, and it's just like, dude, just kill it. It's like you ruined it. It was like the best thing ever, and now it's nothing. It's like I could care less. It's like, oh, The Rock, oh, Rock and Roman, oh. It's like, okay, whatever. I like The Rock too. Like, I mean, yeah, but then it's like I don't really care because the match means nothing. Like you have made this absolutely useless and like are like absolutely useless, meaningless, and worthless. Thanks a lot. Thanks for nothing, effers.
Yeah, effers.
Whereas effing look at Christian Cage and like what they've done with him and the effing what title does he have? It's one of the lesser belts, but
Which one?
I think it's the TV title. The Christian Cage's title.
Oh, he has the TNT.
Yeah, the team, like whatever title it is, whatever. It's just like him and that, and now he's just like every time he's like in a promo, he could just like insult someone and be like, "Well, I'm a champion, and you're not." Or just like MJF. Oh, that was also the great example of MJF was just like when he finally got it, and he's like, and like he customized the belt and just like did a whole thing with it, and he's like, "Yep, the Triple B stays with me." And it's just yeah, it's great for heels. It's great for heels. It just I love it. But yeah, it's just yeah, it's always something you can like also, yeah, like you just yeah, you can like be great for effing character work as well. So yeah, I'm always gonna be on the side of more belts instead of less belts.
Good. There you go. You're a wild thing. That's what you are. Wild thing. All right. Do you have any questions about wrestling that you'd like to talk about?
Nope.
There you go. So, what would you like to talk about? I've now taken up time talking about sex. So you can now bring up a question you want to ask.
I don't have anything I want to talk about. I just
Well, then we're
it,
done. Go back to
that's not how
filming.
we do this
Yeah,
podcast. But if we don't have segments or whatever the f, it's just like oh, what do you feel like talking about, Tekken? Oh, we feel like talking about Buff. Oh, I guess we'll do a podcast and we record. And it's like I
that's right.
don't exactly ever have really anything I need to get off my chest. That's what that's what tweets are for. Okay, you're just like go f yourself, you effing effer. I hope you effing die, and like that's the tweet. And it's like I got off my chest, and then you just go back to
That
doing
was the
you.
text you sent me for Christmas. It's not even original.
And I could just breathe in, breathe out, and be like, yes, I'm at peace. I let out all my negative energy in that tweet. And just
You,
until
I'm gonna be
next
quite honest.
until next
Yes, you
week,
did.
or until next month, or tomorrow, or next hour. You know,
Or the next hour and the
Trump
20 next minute.
next minute.
I
And like until the next one. I've
got
got
issues.
I've got all my system.
Yeah, until Destiny comes out with another, thing you have to do. And I hate everything.
Wow. I didn't say I hate everything.
No, just hate most things.
Okay, sure, whatever.
There you go. Well, perfect. Well, if you are done with your ranting against the wall, uh, I will, and I'm happy with what you said. I'm very happy that Tekken has surprised you. I'm very happy with that. That's my takeaway from
Oh,
today's show. I'm very happy that
actually, there
Tekken.
is something about Hasbro selling Dungeons and Dragons, but I haven't looked into it. But whatever. I didn't know they were in talks with Tencent though, which is a Chinese company. I'm not getting into it. It's a whole thing about China and their influence in the West and their whatever. It's a whole thing. It's a
Be
whole thing.
careful, they're gonna hack. Chinese hackers are coming. I saw it on TNN. On CNN, CNN.
CNN.
I think
CNN
TNN
isn't even around
is the Trump news network, and the CNN because it's all Trump all the time. There you go.
anymore.
Not the Nashville network where Roy was on for a certain amount of time.
Oh,
Yes, indeed.
I guess we could talk about that. The whole rematch from 20 effing 20. Oh yeah, the two old
Is it
guys.
is it really a rematch?
I
I don't.
mean,
I
that's what it's called. If they're again both on the ballot, because yeah.
how could they vote not vote for Biden? I don't understand how people other than we got to vote Republican because the economy is too good and can't have it, and we got to have make sure that
Economy's
everybody
too good.
we we, we love dictators. So I'm not quite sure, but I don't.
Well, but
I
if you go on the internet, the site called YouTube or wherever the f, because I'm sure it's some other places too, and there's actually channels where they interview these people, and the stuff they say, oh my, it's a whole thing, and you're like, yeah, I used to have faith in humanity, and then I watched these videos and I lost all of it. So
well, you don't go on YouTube to defend your humanity. You go on your YouTube to look at it and see how it has devolved.
okay, and
It,
how's that not gonna make me lose faith in it?
I'm just saying, it's knowing that where you're standing, you say, I'm in good faith. These people here with their twerking
What?
are the downfall. Okay, I'll leave you with two things. One, the downfall of our civilization started with twerking. When twerking became a thing, we just went downhill because everybody wanted to shake their butts instead of shaking up the world. That's what happened. Number two is that, and this is since Trump has been around, this continues to hit me harder and harder each time. This world, in the history of this world, has been led by empires. Roman Empire, British Empire, and everything goes in a certain. They're around for a while, and then
American Empire.
yeah, and that's what we're dealing with right now. Is that everything is good, and then all of a sudden, all these empires crumble. And we know why sometimes they do that, but not really the underlying history of it. And I look at America,
I have no idea where this is going. Go on. And I
and
look at America. I'm
and
sorry.
you look at where
Hello,
America
America.
of America,
You'll
and you
never
look at
see me
America,
coming.
let's say 50 years ago. All right,
50 years ago.
now I wasn't around that time, but I'm just saying to where we are now, we're it's been a decline.
Has it really been a decline? In what way?
Morality,
Okay, one way, morality. Continue. I got a counterpoint to that, but continue.
good. All I'm saying is that everybody thinks they're right and they don't care if they're wrong because if they think that if they shout they're right loud enough that they will be right, and that has caused a lot of suffering. And people who say I didn't lose the election, I want to keep my seat and I want to keep it forever because I know I'm in trouble if I don't, because they're going to come and get me, and I got to keep my seat of power because if I do, and I I'm just saying empires crumble for a reason, and this is feels like it's the start of something. So get ready. Hope you're saving up a lot of water bottles. You're gonna need them in the new regime.
What?
They're gonna be worth $100 a bottle. That's all I'm saying.
So your only example for the last 50 years of how things got better was or got worse or whatever the f. What was it worse? You're saying
Anything
it got
worse?
worse. Yeah,
You think
you're like except for morality or
you
whatever.
think technology is great? If you look at it technology wise, oh yeah, you can play now crystal clear video games and everything's good. But at the same time, you're looking at people, how people treat people. It's gone in an absolute decline. Just go on your internet, go on your YouTube, and
Go
see
on
that
your
as a
internet.
thing. Go on the YouTube as they call it. Yes.
What? Okay. Well, in terms of like civil rights, it's gotten better. Okay. In terms of like equality, gotten better. Um, those are the two
Has
that.
it?
Yeah, it has. Would you like some examples?
You know something. I love the fact that quality's getting better, and but thing is, people don't treat there's still a very large segregation of people of racist, hillbilly, redneck, beatniks who are giving people like me a bad name.
Okay.
And unfortunately, all this improvement that we've done with our lives, once those hillbillies start talking and start doing something, and they say, "Oh, I got guns" and all that, right down the toilet. And you know that as much as we want to, but you know something, and then some redneck hillbilly does something stupid, and then people are protesting for obvious reasons and good
For
reasons, and
obvious reasons.
and then the redneck hillbillies point at that and go, "Well, they're doing bad things because they're bad," and then all of a sudden, so
This makes me think of that one time we were on we were I don't remember what we were doing. We are on PSN or something. JCP was there, and then like you did your like Canadian accent or whatever, or like your impression. I can't remember specifically, or you said something, and you're like, I can't. Oh, I don't remember what it was specifically, but like I think you were saying like whatever. It was funny, but it was just like that when Buff like went into like this weird like voice thing of like
hey, you go, eh? Hey, you
like
go.
that. He's like, he's like, oh, you don't think I sound like a traditional Canadian or something? And he said something in like a whole like accent thing, and it was just like so effing good, and it was
So you
hilarious.
like our maple syrup, eh?
It was so good.
Exactly.
Okay,
Anyways,
let's say something else.
all I'm saying is that I'm scared for the future if this man gets back in office. If
See the way I see it is like after the first term that he had, I was like, well, that sucks, but it'll get better. It's just like we're gonna have to go through the thing where like it gets worse before it gets better, and now we're in the worst phase of like it goes down just a bit, and then it's gonna go back up. It's just like how far down will it go? How far down will it go? Because like essentially you had to the bottom at some point. Like maybe that's how bad it gets. Maybe it gets to the very bottom. Maybe hits rock bottom, and it's just super duper bad, and things collapse, and like whatever. But at the end of the day, nowhere to go. So at some point there's nowhere to go but up. So we'll see how far down it goes.
and you thought I was bad,
Because you're
maybe get
bad.
to the bottom, maybe get to the
Sometimes,
real
hey, no
bottom.
matter how bad things get, it could be worse. Could be worse. Could be worse. If at some point it's like,
Yeah, but
I
we
don't know
don't
how it's
want
going
it,
to get worse. So
but
it's
we
like, I
don't want
guess
it to get
nowhere to go
worse.
but
And this,
you gotta go but
and
up.
we got a big problem if it gets worse because then we have to keep. All I know, and you're going to be very surprised I say this. Thank God for the Swifties
Okay, whatever.
because my faith is in Taylor Swift bringing the masses of young girls who want to have their voices heard and not let the weirdos in the back end and take away their rights. Oh, Swifties, vote on mass. Vote on mass.
Oh,
That's all I'm
man.
saying. That's all I'm saying. Because people, I'm just, that's all I'm saying. Swifties come through in November. But they're both, yeah, the best part is this is, and we can see this as being the end. I don't even want to say that because I thought when Barack came in, he was a younger politician and they would keep going with that. And of course, then they went with old fuddy duddy. But hopefully, this is the end in the cycle of really old politicians who are well past where they need to be.
Buff,
They
you just
need,
said it in your like opening to this whatever monologue. You're like, oh, but they just want to hold on to power. So it's like, why would
they
they be any
do.
different? Why would they be
But
any different?
they,
Why would they be any different now?
well, here's the thing because if Trump loses, right, we got Biden who is old, right, and therefore they need to start thinking not at the same level. They need to think younger, like late 40s. Republicans, because thing is, if Trump loses, they are fricked. It's that simple. The Republican Party is dead
I don't
in
know, dude. I
theory.
used to think that, and then like they won the house, so it's like, we'll see.
Well, and that's how it is. It's checks and balances. But thing is, they don't have no big front runner to take on. Like, and Kamala will be the next. Will get a shot after Biden, right? And so therefore she's going to be the front runner. So who does the Republicans have at all to go against her? And it's going to be very interesting, to say the least.
I mean, I have my own like opinion on like and ideas on like the Dims because it's like like what they need to do and like what they're going to do are two very different things. But it's like I don't think they're going to do what they need to do because they just don't. So it's whatever. But it's like yeah, that's what we'll see. But, I mean, I agree with you on the whole like generational change thing though, because you know Pelosi's no longer the leader in the House. It's a different story, but it's a whole thing. So we'll see what happens. But ugh, that's all the can of worms. But yes, I agree. The winds are the winds are at our backs, being powered by all the swiftiness blowing out there. So yeah, here's hoping.
We started this show talking about sex, and now we end it talking about Trump.
I was going to bring that after that part. I was like,
Talk
Taylor
about a
Swift.
dong.
You're like sex with 70-year-olds. I was like
I
Taylor
say,
Swift.
sorry. We
Amy
started talking
Green,
about
whatever her name is.
we
Whatever
started
her
this
name is.
podcast talking about dongs. We ended talking about Dawn, who's a big dong. So there you go.
Oh, wait, no, I'm thinking of Taylor Swift, not Stormy Swift or Stormy. Oh, I know her name. I'm not gonna say it, but like, yeah, her. Anyway, I got that wrong. I'm sorry. Don't get at me, people on the internet. Oh yeah, so yeah, I guess we'll wrap it up here. I always forget the outro, but uh, until you see or hear from us again, the universe has been saved by the power of our friendship. Yeah. So yeah.
Dong.
Uh, until you see or hear from us again. For now, signing off.